Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for joining me for another YouTube video. I know it's been a while since I've done one, but truthfully, life has caught up with me. I mean, I got finals coming up for my classes, and I have work which demanded a lot for me, especially for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the likes of that. So it was really something that sort of, my attention got pulled every which way to where, and there really wasn't a lot that I felt like was coming out that was important to talk about. So kind of took a bit of a hiatus, an unplanned hiatus. But I am back to talk to you guys today about, well, I don't really know if it's proper to say forgotten, but games that deserve sequels, more or less. And I'm not really talking about like HD remakes, although that could probably happen if the game has been old enough. If the game is old enough now to where it's like, look, this series has been so long forgotten. But more or less, like, these games deserve sequels. Whether they're forgotten games, whether they're games that just came out last gen. These are the games that I would like to see get proper sequels. And of course, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below about what games you would love to see get proper sequels on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. I'm not excluding any game from this because it's purely subjective as to which console goes on. It's not really even relevant. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that. So for me, the very first one that we need to talk about comes from like the NES era and stuff like that, and that is Startropics. There really needs to be another Startropics game. I really enjoyed those games. Like you had to think that at the time that I was playing Startropics, I completely skipped by the first game. I looked at it, I looked at the cover art, and I thought this is some kind of ridiculous like Hawaii-based game. I don't want to play this. I didn't really know what it was about. Startropics 2, though, Zoda's Revenge, that cover drew me in, and I'm like, who's Zoda? What's this about? And it's about time travel and all that stuff like that, and if you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's a really fun series to play, at least for me. And it was something that at the time when the Super Nintendo was out and stuff like that, kept me going back to my NES, and it's something that I really enjoy. So I'd love to see Startropics 3, you know, continuing that series, because I just love to see what Nintendo would do with it. You know, maybe they could make it be a top-down game. I know that that's kind of difficult in today's gaming era where we need to have like 3D, you know, HD graphics and stuff like that. But you can have it be kind of like a Link Between Worlds-ish, to it's kind of 3D-ish, but it's still visually appealing enough to where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to go full-blown Castlevania 64 or Metroid or anything like that to where it's full-blown 3D, but you can make it top-down like the Startropics games and stuff like that. It'd be really neat to see a Startropics 3, especially on the Switch, because I think it'd be a great top-down Nintendo exclusive game. And I would also like to see a game called Journey to Silius. It's a kind of an old school action shooter game. And I really enjoyed it as a kid. Like, it was one of the first games that really, like, I liked the music to this, you know, like, it was one of those first kind of games that I just really enjoyed as a kid on my NES. So, yeah, I think that deserves a sequel as well. Or, at least in this case, because it's just so old and so forgotten that a lot of people don't even know about it, that you can even do a remake of it. And I'll probably do another video talking more exclusively about Journey to Silius, but, yeah, make another Journey to Silius, please. Another series that's kind of been forgotten ever since the PlayStation 2 era. So we've gone a while without this game. Dark Cloud. It's something that I keep talking about over and over again. Make a Dark Cloud 3, please. I mean, it's got interesting mechanics. I like the way that they did it. Like, it has a world-building system as well as being an action RPG. So I think that it can distinguish itself enough from the other action RPGs to still warrant its existence. And there's a pretty big following of Dark Cloud fans that, you know, I skipped past the first one completely. I didn't even know about it. I just started Dark Cloud 2, and I picked it up, And I figured, what the heck, I'll try this. It sounds interesting. And I really ended up enjoying it. To the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick up these games again. I've since lost my copy of Dark Cloud 2, so I'm going to pick up Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2 again and play through them. But I enjoyed the series enough to where it's like, yes, please come out with Dark Cloud 3, PlayStation 4 exclusive, make it happen. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. This is kind of an odd entry for me to talk about, but I think it still would be kind of worth having something like a psychic detective or a voyeur. I know we've come a long way from those full motion video games that we had on like the 3DO era and stuff like that, like Night Trap and stuff. I know we've come a long way from that, but I still think that they had something about them, you know, because like, for example, Psychic Detective, even though you played as a character, you could jump from the perspective of anybody. Like, I remember you could even jump on like the perspective of a dog that was walking around. And that's because as you're jumping into these people's perspectives, you can see the scene happen in different ways to give you clues. And so it seems like it could be kind of a fun little murder mystery kind of thing to do and figure out, you know, what evidence can I get against this person by going back and, you know, jumping through this differently. I see it kind of fun, and I don't know, I kind of enjoy those kind of games like that. They're just kind of, you know, interesting and fun, and let's just enjoy ourselves and have some fun with this theory, or, you know, this mystery, or this concept that we're doing. I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. I know it's kind of a weird entry. I don't really have a justification for it, but another Psychic Detective or something like that would be interesting. Again, another weird entry for me, but a game that I really enjoyed and got a lot of time on my Dreamcast with is Caution Seaman. I really think that I know it's kind of weird because it's a niche game, but I really do think that it has enough potential to work, especially nowadays with the modern consoles that we have now that are designed, like with the Xbox One and the PS4, designed to just basically plug in headphones and work and operate with your voice. It's not like back in the Dreamcast era where you needed a specific peripheral to do that. You know what I'm saying? So having something like this come out on like the 3DS, even as like one of the last games that come out for the 3DS that has built-in voice, or the PS4 or the Xbox One that again can use those capabilities, doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched because you just have to program it in. And I think this has been long enough in the series that you could basically revamp it as something new and different. It doesn't have to be a Seaman. It could be, I don't know, it could be frog that you raise. It could, you know, it could be a continuation from when they're a frog onward. It could be a bird. It could be something different. But basically just getting a virtual pet kind of thing in like the Caution Seaman kind of vein and concept would be really interesting to me. The interesting thing about doing something like this is that there are just so many games that I've played in my lifetime. And a lot of them, they were just like, they were one game that came out. But they were pretty impactful to me. So it's kind of difficult for me to narrow this list down to kind of like 10 or something like that, to where I could even just say, yes, these games, because there are so many of them. So I might not even be able to fit everything that I want to say into this. It's just stuff that's coming to me off the top of my head. But the next one that I want to see would be Primal. For the PlayStation 2. That game was really cool. I like the whole concept of being able to transform into like the different beast forms and traverse and stuff like that. And I don't know, it was a pretty fun game for me. I really enjoyed it, and it really seemed like the kind of thing I'm just like, there needs to be another one of these. You know, like there just needs to be another. There needs to be a Primal 2. There needs to be something. And the fact that there wasn't, at least yet, is kind of disappointing to me. So yeah, I would like to see that. I would also like to definitely see another Nightmare Creatures. I know that there was the Nightmare Creatures 3 that was being worked on, and I saw some of the early developmental work on it, and it seemed interesting. But it's just been so long now that Nightmare Creatures probably isn't going to come back. But I would like to see it come back. I would like to see Nightmare Creatures 3. And I guess that's going to do it for me, guys. I can't really think of any other games. I mean, there's a whole lot that I could say, like, oh, please bring back, you know, the Kid Icarus games. You know, bring those back. Let's get another one in there. But this is kind of the stuff that, again, is probably going to happen. Like, we're more likely going to get a Donkey Kong. We're going to more likely get another Kid Icarus game. We're going to more likely get, you know, these games. Because it's really going to depend upon Nintendo. So I can't really sit here and say 100% we're certainly, oh, please bring the... Because these are games that just came out. You know, like, we just got a Kid Icarus game on the 3DS. And I know that's still been a while... But we need to give it time. I'm trying to think of games that are like PS3, PS2 era, and older that haven't come out in a while. It seemed like they were pretty successful, or at least should have been more successful than what they were, and deserve another chance. And that's kind of difficult because during that era there were a lot of games that came out, such as Journey to Silius, for an example, and Dino Wars, and all these other games. A lot of these games came out from the NES because there was just such a huge, massive library. It was kind of hard to keep track of all of them. And, again, there's a lot of games that just sort of come under the radar. They just release, and then they're there. You know? So, I don't know. It's a little bit difficult for me to come out with a full list of games, because there's just so many, and I had to look through each and every game that came out for each and every system to give you a definitive list. So this is just a real quick, kind of like, just shoot them off the top of my head kind of thing. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about any of these games that I've talked about, or anything that you would love to see come out, any long lost forgotten game, whether it's recent or old, that you would like to see get another shot. And it mostly needs to qualify as something that didn't do too well. Or maybe has no talks of a sequel, but should get a sequel. And like I said, I tried to avoid Wii U and 3DS and stuff like that, because they're recent. And we may see those yet come out. I'm talking about, like, look, it's been since the PlayStation 2 here. You need to, you know, and nothing has happened yet. Why hasn't this happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff. But I appreciate you guys watching, as always. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I apologize for babbling on and keeping you for as long as I have. But I do appreciate you watching. If you watched this all the way to the end, make sure you give me a thumbs up and let you know that you did watch it all the way to the end. I really appreciate that. And thanks for watching, guys. Have yourself a good one. I'll see you next time.